So you've got a new article about some of your favorite people. Ron Castorino soils his trousers. I think you mean that figuratively, not literally. By the
Oh,
way, one of
play
my
the
biggest
video,
fans.
Mike. Play the video. Did you play the video?
All right, let's play the video.
Never self-accepted fall. Do you really want to own me? Do you really want to make me cry? Do you really want to own me? Do you really want to make me cry?
That's part, Mike.
All right. I love Culture Club, but that's not actually Culture Club.
The reason why this came up is because Thomas Nast wrote this one, and I helped him with it. The reason why this came up is because people keep on getting asked questions about the whole McMahon thing, the fallout. What's going to happen to Ron Castorina? What's going to happen to Judge Castorina? It's like the worst kept secret in the world that the guy perjured himself. Frank Perlotto's been saying it for years. I've been saying it for years. Publishing, showing that.
Wait, hold on. You're getting ahead of yourself. First of all, who is Ron Castorina and how is he related to Mike McMahon, who is the DA and your nemesis in Staten Island, Richmond County, which is Staten Island?
So
who is this guy?
I was a friend of Ron's years ago, and some pictures in there of us, campaign stuff and everything. He was an assemblyman. He was the GOP party leader. I helped him out do some stuff, fake Facebook, and I didn't think it was criminal, but frankly, he was a buddy of mine. It all goes sideways with McMahon because McMahon becomes the DA. I had gone against McMahon's candidacy. I had supported his opponent, and I done fake Facebook pages for McMahon too. Ron was totally aware of this. There are Facebook Messenger messages. There's a whole record of that. Well, after I go away, Ron is still an assemblyman and he's still the GOP leader. This is before he takes the bench. He comes in 2018 and goes to a grand jury and lies. He says, I don't know this guy. He's not a friend of mine. He's a bad dude. He's this, he's that, he's the other. He was singing from the McMahon's song sheet. The McMahon told him, you go in, you throw Luthmann under the bus, nothing's going to happen to you, and we'll make you a judge. That's exactly what happened here. And so the fact is that the only person in the universe that could destroy this entire McMahon and Castorina and now Tanusis and this whole machine is Rich Luthmann. Because I know where all the bodies are buried. And the last thing these people want to do is get Rich Luthmann where he's asking the questions under oath to these people. I have 2 shots at least to ask Ron Castorina the questions under oath. The first.
Now how are you going to get this guy under oath to be able to ask him questions?
Number one, I'm suing him civilly in the case in New York, in Manhattan. And so that's going to go to discovery. If it doesn't go to discovery, then I go to the appellate division. It clearly has to go to discovery. And the feds are already looking at that case, too, in case there's any manipulation by the judges, because Judge Knott left the case very, very abruptly. And then it went to Waterman Marshall for like a day, and then it got moved to someplace else. So the judicial stuff in that's getting looked at in case the McMahons or anybody else has their hands in it. This is the Judicial Commission. This is some funny business with Robert Tembekian and Ron Castorina in the Judicial Commission. They're looking at Tembekian too. But keep going now. Now we go to the cross-examination. So if I'm going to get a chance to cross-examine him, one is to cross-examine him related to my civil case. Second is to cross-examine him related to the criminal case. Because as you know, the fingerprint card case, that might get thrown out. And I go back to trial on the fake Facebook case. I have 3 years worth of jail credit there. So I have a free shot. They're not going to put me in jail for 3 years for fake Facebook pages. That's not going to happen. So I go in and I get to cross-examine McMahon and Castorina, who are grand jury witnesses, right? And if they don't, the case goes away. If they do, I got a free shot at it. So that's what's going to happen. Go down. I have a mock cross-examination session. And that's all the proof. If people want to look at the proofs, it's all there showing it laid out. But here's Luthmann crossing. Go up there. Go up. Luthmann cross-examining Castorina. You can read that. Go ahead, Mike.
Right. Judge Castorina, you testified under oath that you hardly knew me and wanted nothing to do with me, correct? I said you were essentially a person that I tried to avoid, yes. You also swore that you told me to stop sending political stuff, that you didn't support my antics. Did you ever actually tell me to stop? I believe I did indicate my approval, but if he hardly knew you, why would he tell you to stop? Let's check. Here's a Facebook Messenger exchange from 2015. I wrote, McMahon's people must be going crazy by now. You replied, totally nuts. Good for you. Is that you encouraging me? That was taken out of context. You called my fake page of Mike McMahon fucking hysterical and said, it's spot on. You are the best, Rich. Then you added, I cracked up. Were you placating me when you praised my work? I might have been humoring you, not endorsing. Humoring by offering to buy me dinner and drinks. In 2016, I suggested, quote, a fake Materna site, and you replied, I'm looking for a photo to use. You actively help. That's not telling me to stop, is it? I don't recall that specific message. It's your message. I'm looking for one, you wrote, hunting for a Hillary Clinton photo of my opponent. You even called Janine Materno a vicious animal and egged me on. Were those also attempts to, quote, get rid of me? No response. Sorting. Your Honor, the evidence shows Mr. Castorina was not my unwitting victim. He was a willing co-conspirator and then lied under oath to save himself. In this imagined drama.
And then number 2 is McMahon, our buddy Mike McMahon, the DA, the guy who's holding all the strings.
All right, Mr. McMahon, you claim I victimized you with a fake Facebook page. Isn't it true I satirized as Smiling Jack and compared you to the Grinch? Yes, and it was a malicious misrepresentation of me during my 2000 campaign for district attorney. You didn't appreciate that parody, did you? It was not just a parody. It was an attack intended to mislead voters. It was election interference. I absolutely took offense. In fact, you were so offended that after you became DA, you made sure it was prosecuted for it, correct? I recused my office due to conflict. An independent special prosecutor handled it. The first special prosecutor, Tom Tormey, reviewed the matter and declined to prosecute on First Amendment grounds, correct? That's what I was told. You would have to ask him. Then you got Judge Rooney to appoint a second special prosecutor, your friend Eric Nelson, who finally indicted me. Isn't it true you orchestrated that after your wife got in trouble and lost her job as Staten Island administrative judge? I don't know what you're insinuating. Let's talk about your wife, Judge Nancy McMahon. In 2018, I had evidence, recordings of her fixing case assignments in special narcotics part and to boost your conviction stats. She was demoted for that and lost $50,000 a year in salary. Isn't it true? That's unrelated to your case. Unrelated. After those tapes surfaced, you chose not to prosecute Judge McMahon, your own wife, for alleged illegal misconduct. Instead, you turned your sights on me, a convenient distraction, perhaps. You knew my Facebook post embarrassed you, so you pressed this novel criminal case to settle the score. I pursued justice. You broke the law by impersonating public figures. It wasn't personal. Not personal. You had every motive. I exposed your patronage tricks and lampooned you. I showed you had dead people sign your ballot access petition for DA in 2015. I cost your wife roughly $50,000 a year in pay. You wanted payback. You even let the statute of limitation lapse on the Castorina's role so he couldn't be charged, focusing everything on me. This was political retribution dressed up as law enforcement, wasn't it? That's absurd. You pled guilty because you knew you'd be convicted. I pled guilty under arrest, facing trumped-up charges, a rigged deck, a sitting in a federal prison the whole time. There was no proper arrest or fingerprint card. If I would have confronted Castorina's perjury sooner, maybe the truth would have come out in time. Maybe the grand jury would have seen you and Castorina were behind the phony Facebook all along. This is dramatized. This is what happens in movies. I don't think you're allowed to ask questions like this because half the time you're not actually asking questions.
Well, they're pretty good though, right? That gives you the flavor of what's going to happen.
It was
a
few
good
men.
Artistic or an actorial, thing.
It was a few good men-esque.
Or it could be my cousin Vinny-esque. We could do a little bit of that.
My cousin Vinny-esque. Very dramatic.
Here's the biggest thing right here about Eric Nelson. If you want to click on that, the biggest part of that case is that he has the grand jury asking them about the First Amendment. And he says right there in black and white, I'm not going to give a course on freedom of speech. And then the jury asks, I can look it up, right? You can look up things in terms of what freedom of speech means, but you can't look it up as it relates to this case. No, Joe. I have a right. You have a right to go on the internet and look up anything as long as it doesn't pertain to this particular case. So they're asking about the First Amendment, whether it applies in the grand jury, and he shut down the First Amendment rather than and go back that guy right there, Perry Rice. If the grand jury asks, you're supposed to be an advisor to the grand jury as a prosecutor and tell them that the First Amendment may apply, may not. It's your decision, not shut them down. But he was taking advice from Perry Reich, a disbarred felon from Queens, who became the de facto district attorney for Staten Island. He's the Staten Island district attorney that was in the grand jury room. He was supported by a felon. And so that's what New York has. They have criminals running their grand jury rooms. They have criminals running their district attorney's office, the criminal in chief being Michael Edward McMahon, in my opinion.
All right. And I think that's it for us. We will be back next week.